With FTX's Chapter 11 filing of bankruptcy now underway, we have an individual here on Twitter who's broken down quite a bit of it for the first day of the affidavit. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinion. It's my own research. I highly encourage you guys to go do your own research. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into the news. This coming from @JohnWoo_. I just read FTX's Chapter 11 first day affidavit. In it, the appointed restructuring CEO John J. Ray III, who oversaw Enron's bankruptcy proceedings, calls FTX's case the worst of his career. Its contents are shocking. Here are the highlights. First off, some context. In a bankruptcy, the first day affidavit is a comprehensive summary of how the entity got to this point and why it's requesting relief via corporate restructuring. Roughly, it says, look, we owe a lot of people a lot of money, and we don't know where it all is, but we're looking. It's supposed to be part of the initial Chapter 11 filing, hence first day. That was on November 11th. Today is November 17th. John J. Ray III, the appointed overseer, is one of the most experienced restructuring executives in the world, having overseen Enron and a slew of other high-profile bankruptcies. At his side are Sullivan and Cromwell, one of the leading restructuring law firms, and Alvarez and Marsal, one of the leading restructuring advisory firms. Ray's statements are given under penalty of perjury. That is all to say, this is a serious investigation by serious adults. Ray opens with his experience and then immediately condemns FTX as the worst case of his career. Quote, "Never in my career have I seen such a complete failure of corporate controls and such a complete absence of trustworthy financial information as occurred here." Goes on to say, from compromised systems, integrity, and faulty regulatory oversight abroad, to the concentration of control in the hands of a very small group of inexperienced, unsophisticated, and potentially compromised individuals, this situation is unprecedented. These Chapter 11 cases have 5 core objectives, and breaks it down a little bit more. John Woo continues to say, he then identifies 4 business silos within FTX. WRS silo, FTX US, Ledger X, and affiliates. Alameda silo, Alameda Research, LLC. Ventures silo, FTX Ventures and affiliates. And .com silo, FTX.com. He makes clear each of the silos was controlled by Mr. Bankman-Fried. He immediately communicates distrust of any furnished financials. FTX's US's balance sheet shows $1.36 billion in assets as of September 30th. However, because this balance sheet was produced while the debtors were controlled by Mr. Bankman-Fried, I do not have confidence in it. To further elaborate this, he also says, and the information therein may not be correct as of the date stated. He then goes on to recount in paragraph 44, I believe, SBF's negotiations with attorneys and his father around filing Chapter 11, which, in his interview with Vox, SBF stated as his biggest regret, claiming that everything would be, quote, 70% fixed right now if he hadn't. I have another video up today which breaks down this interview with Sam Bankman-Fried. I recommend you guys go check that out. It's a little bit lengthy, but you do see the full comprehensive conversation that was taking place with Vox with Sam. Paragraph 46 explains there was roughly no corporate governance. I understand that many entities, for example, never had board meetings. Paragraph 50, the FTX group did not maintain centralized control of its cash. They didn't even keep a running list of all of their bank accounts. Rough cash on hand, $564 million, which can be seen here on the bottom right-hand side. In paragraph 55, John J. Ray III basically says, I've heard of the FTX US auditors, the FTX international auditors. Let's just say they're best known for having an office in the metaverse. And in paragraph 56, he essentially says that the audited financials are also not to be trusted. Paragraph 59. Human resources. The entire FTX group didn't have any employee management whatsoever, incapable of furnishing a list of employees, the terms of their agreements, each employee's status. Paragraph 62. Employees were paid through online chat, and managers, quote, approved disbursements by responding with personalized emojis. Digital asset custody. SBF and Gary Wang controlled all of FTX's digital assets personally using a group email account to share private keys, software to conceal the misuse of customer funds, and the big one, the secret exemption of Alameda from certain aspects of FTX.com's auto liquidation protocol. Theories that Alameda was liquidation exempt on FTX seem confirmed by Ray's initial investigation. Ray notes in paragraph 66 that $372 million in unauthorized transfers happened on the petition date, the FTX hack, but further that $300 million in FTT tokens were also minted after the petition date by an unauthorized source. Paragraph 71, Sam basically used Signal to hide all of his decisions and communications with employees. Paragraph 71, the investigative team includes a former director of enforcement at the SEC, a former director of enforcement at the CFTC, a former chief of the Complex Frauds and Cybercrime Unit of the U.S. Attorney's Office for SDNY, in other words, the A-team of bankruptcies. Paragraph 76, creating some distance between him and Sam Bankman-Fried. Mr. Bankman-Fried, currently in the Bahamas, continues to make erratic and misleading public statements. Mr. Bankman-Fried recently stated to a reporter on Twitter, F regulators, they make everything worse. In sum, a crack team of restructuring experts, arguably the best in the world, is tackling arguably the worst and most disastrous financial fraud in history. Worse, they claim, than Enron. This expertise is likely costing the FTX entities more than $1 million per day. And that's before we're really into the bankruptcy proceedings. This is just the initial first look investigation into all of the shenanigans happening inside of FTX. See here for the full affidavit. I will also include a link to this full affidavit in the description down below. It also reveals Sam Bankman-Fried definitively to be a liar and a fraud. A team of the most experienced restructuring experts in the world under penalty of perjury have submitted to the courts a document that shows nearly every public statement SBF has made in the last week to be a lie. Too long didn't read. FTX is worse than Enron, run by SBF, a few insiders using Signal, committing immense fraud and no sense of bank accounts, employees, cash on hand, liquidity management, digital asset custody, cybersecurity practices, or any form of corporate control or governance. Thanks for following along. If you enjoyed this and want to retain access to my writing in case Twitter stops working, sign up for my email list at 40IQ here. They provide that link. I will also include a link in the description to this person's thread being started here. So if you want to go show them some love and support, obviously they went through quite a bit of effort to break this down for everybody. I want to make sure that you have access to being able to go over to their account. Wow. What an absolute mess. We're talking about, oh my gosh, such a huge debacle. And this individual that's coming in here, it sounds like they are trying to remedy this. Sounds like Sam is just wanting to stir the pot even more. I am quite curious if Sam is literally out of his mind. Did this guy do a whole bunch of drugs and he's not there? I don't know. His behavior is very erratic. It's not normal. And this is messed up. So you guys tell me, do you think that government's going to come in here and help out with this kind of situation? Or do you think that it's just going to all go belly up and everyone gets screwed, and then we're going to see more ripples across the market with all these other players and this doesn't get resolved? I would hope in a circumstance like this, I would hope that the government does help out. It's kind of sad. It's one of those things where I'm not going to go into the politics on it. It's just, as it is, there's a ton of people that are suffering because of horrible actions of one individual, and the ramifications of not trying to resolve something like this could potentially be far worse. And so I'm curious to see what exactly is going to play out with this. Tell us in the comments down below what you guys think. Would love to know your opinions. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please go do your own research. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. A double shout out thank you to WeLoveSafeman.com, Victor Vegas, Safeman Oz for being higher level patrons. Also, thank you to my YouTube members for your support. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. God bless, and we will see you in the next episode.